Hello, and welcome to A State of Grace Wellbeing podcast. I'm Grace, and today I want to explore something that I think many of us do, often without realizing it. We try to think positively while our body is telling us something completely different. We tell ourselves, I'm fine, I can handle it. I just need to stay positive. I should be grateful. Everything will work out. And perhaps, on the surface, we look as though we believe those words. We smile, we keep showing up, we continue meeting everyone's expectations. We say all the right things, but underneath it all, our body might be whispering, I'm tired, I'm overwhelmed, I don't want to do this. This doesn't feel right. I need to stop. And no matter how many positive thoughts we place over the top of those feelings, there is still a part of us that knows the truth. Because you can't fake alignment. Alignment isn't something we can perform. It isn't about appearing confident, spiritual, calm, or completely in control. And it certainly isn't about pretending that everything is wonderful when it isn't. True alignment begins with honesty. Before confidence, before positive thinking, before action. Before we try to change how we feel, we have to be willing to acknowledge how we actually feel. When positive thinking becomes another performance, now I'm not suggesting that positive thinking is a bad thing. Our thoughts are powerful. The way we speak to ourselves matters. Choosing hope can be incredibly supportive, particularly when life feels uncertain. But there is a difference between gently guiding ourselves towards hope and using positivity to override what is really happening within us. Sometimes positive thinking becomes another way of silencing ourselves. We feel disappointed but tell ourselves we shouldn't be. We feel hurt but decide we're being sensitive. We feel exhausted but insist that we simply need to push through. We sense that something isn't right but convince ourselves that we're imagining it. We don't want to say yes, but we say it anyway because that is what the kind, capable and dependable version of us is supposed to do. Then we try to make our thoughts match the decision we've already made. This will be good for me. I'm lucky to have the opportunity. I'm sure I'll enjoy it once I get there. But somewhere beneath those words, the body continues to resist. Perhaps your stomach tightens, your shoulders rise towards your ears. Your breathing becomes shallow. You feel unusually tired. You develop a headache, or you notice a heaviness that you can't quite explain. The body often recognizes misalignment before the thinking mind is ready to admit it. Intuition or performance. There can be a very subtle difference between intuition and performance. Intuition is usually quiet. It doesn't always give us a detailed explanation. It might simply say, not this, not now. Slow down and wait. This person doesn't feel safe. This opportunity looks good, but isn't right for me. Performance, on the other hand, is often much louder. It sounds like, what will people think? I don't want to disappoint anyone. I need to prove that I can do this. I've already said yes, so I can't change my mind. This is what a successful person would do. This is what a spiritual person should feel. Performance is concerned with how things look. Intuition is concerned with how things feel. And that can be difficult, particularly for women who have spent years being praised for being helpful, agreeable, capable, and accommodating. We may have become so skilled at reading the room and responding to what everybody else needs that we have lost touch with our own internal signals. We know how to make other people comfortable. We know how to keep things moving. We know how much to put on a brave face. But when someone asks, "What do you need?" we may not know how to answer. Sometimes we need to become quiet enough to hear what has been underneath the performance all along. Why pretending to be okay is exhausting. Pretending to be okay requires an enormous amount of energy. We are not only carrying the emotion itself, we are also using energy to conceal it, manage it, and present something different to the world. We might be carrying sadness while performing cheerfulness, anxiety while appearing calm, resentment while being helpful, exhaustion while insisting we are coping, disappointment while telling everyone it doesn't matter. That creates an internal split. One part of us is experiencing the truth, while another part is working hard to cover it up. And maintaining that distance between what we feel and what we show can be deeply draining. This doesn't mean that we need to share every private feeling with everyone we meet. Discernment is important. We are allowed to choose when, where, and with whom we are vulnerable. But even if we're not ready to speak our truth aloud, we can begin by acknowledging it privately. We can say to ourselves, "This has hurt me. I am disappointed. I don't have the capacity for this today. I thought I wanted this, but now I'm not so sure. I need some time before I can make a decision." That quiet moment of honesty can begin to bring us back into relationship with ourselves. Alignment is honesty before it is confidence. We often imagine that alignment will feel confident, clear, powerful, certain. We think that when we're aligned, we will know exactly what to do and feel completely comfortable doing it. But alignment doesn't always arrive that way. Sometimes alignment begins with an uncomfortable truth. I don't want this anymore. This way of living isn't working for me. I need help. I've changed. I'm afraid. I don't know what comes next. There may be nothing especially confident about admitting those things, but there is something deeply authentic about them. And authenticity creates a stronger foundation than forced confidence ever can. Confidence may grow later after we have listened to ourselves and taken a few honest steps. But honesty comes first. This is why alignment isn't always comfortable. It may ask us to disappoint someone, to reconsider a commitment, to set a boundary, to admit that something we worked hard for no longer feels right, to rest when part of us believes we should be doing more, or to acknowledge that an opportunity we thought would validate us doesn't actually feel nourishing. That doesn't mean we have failed. It may simply mean we are finally listening. The body doesn't speak in affirmations. The body communicates through sensation. tightness, warmth, heaviness, expansion, restlessness, belief, fatigue, a softening in the chest, a knot in the stomach, a sudden feeling of spaciousness when we imagine saying no. The body doesn't usually give us a polished explanation. It gives us information. Our task is not to treat every sensation as an instruction that must immediately be followed. Sometimes anxiety can feel like intuition, and sometimes growth naturally feels uncomfortable. Instead, we can become curious. We can ask, what happens in my body when I imagine saying yes? What happens when I imagine saying no? Does this feel like fear because I am growing, or does it feel like resistance because I am overriding myself? Am I choosing this because it feels true for me, or because I want to be seen in a particular way? We don't have to force an instant answer. And sometimes the most aligned thing we can do is give ourselves more time. A short alignment practice. If it feels comfortable, take a moment now to soften your gaze or close your eyes. Allow your shoulders to drop. Relax your jaw. Take a slow breath in through your nose and gently release it. Bring to mind something you are currently navigating. It might be a decision, a commitment, a relationship, or something you feel you should be doing. Without analysing it, simply notice what happens in your body as you think about it. Is there tightness anywhere? A sense of heaviness, restlessness, or perhaps a feeling of openness or warmth? There is no right response. You are simply listening. Now quietly ask yourself, what is true for me in this moment? And then ask, what am I pretending not to know? You don't need to search for an answer. Just allow the question to settle. Perhaps honesty means taking action. Perhaps it means having a conversation. Perhaps it means changing your mind. Or perhaps it simply means acknowledging your feelings without trying to fix them. Take another gentle breath. And when you are ready, bring your awareness back into the room or the chair or the space you're in. You don't have to be positive to be aligned. You can be sad and aligned. You can be uncertain and aligned. You can be disappointed and aligned. You can be resting, reconsidering, or beginning again and still be aligned. Alignment doesn't mean that every part of your life feels easy. It means that you are no longer abandoning yourself to maintain an appearance. It means your words, choices, and actions are beginning to reflect what is genuinely true within you. And sometimes the most powerful shift in vibration doesn't come from repeating a more positive thought. It comes from the relief of finally admitting, this is how I really feel. From there, something softens. The performance can fall away. Your energy is no longer being used to hold two conflicting realities together. And you can begin to move forward, not from pressure or pretense, but from a place of truth. So, as you move through the coming week, notice the moments when you are automatically saying, I'm fine. Notice when your mind insists on positivity while your body is asking for something else. And rather than judging yourself, become curious. What might your body be trying to tell you? Because alignment isn't about becoming a more polished version of yourself. It's about becoming more honest with yourself. And you can't fake that. Thank you for joining me today on a State of Grace Wellbeing podcast. If this episode resonated with you, perhaps share it with someone who has been holding everything together or trying very hard to be okay. Until next time, be gentle with yourself, listen closely, and remember your truth does not lower your vibration. It brings you back into alignment.